Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled, and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
It's you and the senorita, whoop it, blowing up the tweeter, cause it's me up in the speaker. Back in the mama seat, top down like a player, and the sound up in your ears, it is the dopest rhyme say. I run a game like a cheater, I'm balling like they're so.
I watched my New York Mets get crushed by the Washington Nationals the other day. That wasn't good times. But one thing that kind of struck me about the whole situation was watching these guys who get paid millions upon millions of dollars, watching them strike out, watching them not get the base hit, watching them not get the home run. And, you know, I guess it's an old adage. And sports get used a lot in these comparisons. You know, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Babe Ruth, home run king, strikeout king. But these are arguably the most successful baseball players on the face of the planet at the moment. Teams like the New York Mets. They weren't too successful the other day, and I think they've dropped to third place in the division, and that is a hard one to stomach. But in general, they are the... Oh, that's...
you want me to get that for you?
Yeah, no. Hold on.
Housekeeping? Can I help you?
Yeah. They are possibly the most successful baseball players on the face of the planet at the moment. And I watched them get up, take cuts, strike out. Watch them have lousy days on the mound. Bartolo Colon, the pitcher who had, at age 42, hit his first ever career home run just a week or so earlier. A Topps baseball card came out saying anything is possible with him on it. So inspiring. And then he pitched one of the worst games of his career. Just a couple days later, life is a roller coaster, my friend. And these people who are on top of the world, seemingly, they fail so often. So often they strike out. So often people hit home runs off of them. So often they're in the dirt wondering what happened. And these are supposed to be the very best at what they do. And here's the thing, they are the very best at what they do. There's real value in failure. And there's real value in recognizing that failure is part of your success and whatever the hell it is you're up to. One of my favorite quotes about life that I keep coming back to over and over again when life gets rough was born of failure. Conan O'Brien. I mean, let's be real here. He did rather well out of the deal when he was bounced out of the gig doing The Tonight Show. But Conan O'Brien, when he got jerked around, when The Tonight Show was going to become The Tomorrow Show and start airing after midnight, when he decided to walk away from it, he left with something that I always come back to. He said, nobody in life gets exactly what they thought they were going to get. But if you work really hard and you're kind, amazing things will happen. Maybe one day we'll get to have Conan on the show. I'll get to thank him for that. But until then, it's something that when the going gets rough, I remember over and over. And if you're daring to step out of the little box that life has handed you, if you are looking to do something a little bit more than is expected of you, if you're looking to take a road less traveled, there's a very good chance you're going to meet with a ton of failure before you meet with any kind of success. There's a very good chance that you're going to meet with a ton of failure even when you're at the top of your game, like the biggest baseball players on the face of the planet. But it's worth remembering there's real value in failure. It goes hand in hand with you being where the hell it is you want to be. So embrace the failure. Embrace life's little knocks. Embrace life's big knocks. Whether they're professional or emotional or circumstantial. All of it is making you what you are. All of it is bringing you closer to you being what you want to be. A dream doesn't become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work. Colin Powell, thank you for hanging out. Tweet us at ADSXE, at FunkFM, and our new intern is on the show today. Tweet Brandy Aniston as well. Woohoo!
Let's start the show. Hot 2, hot 3, hot AC from your radio live and uncut. Tonight, you're cutting loose and having fun.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
I do what I want, when I want, how I want. Every day you're going and working, running that rat race at that pace and that place will leave a bad taste for anyone, everyone working day after day. So buddy, I gotta say, there's gotta be a better way, yeah. And you do what they told ya, company man, feel it, a mindless little soldier. How can you live like that and maintain your composure? Before it's begun, your life's already freaking over. Yeah, I do what I want, when I want.
So we are super excited today, Funkhauser. Why?
Why?
Because we have a new intern.
We do?
We do. Brandy Aniston,
What's up?
superstar adult entertainer, is now a part of the show.
Oh, here
here's the
she
thing.
is.
Here's the thing. Brandy is here in a professional capacity because in addition to having carved out a massive niche for herself in this adult entertainment world, you're also like super good at radio and you're going to college for it, right? So this is like people, internship, but like you're actually here gaining life experience in something that you are currently studying, correct?
Yes, this is this is where I want to be. This is my goal. This is my dream. I want to be a big time radio host. That was my dream. And when I was given the opportunity 3 years ago to start hosting radio for another station, it just fell into it. And now I'm a full-time college major in Long Beach for it. So I'm real excited about it.
Well, your goal is to be part of the big time. Welcome to the medium time.
Thank you. You know what? Hey, I'll hang out in the medium time any day. It doesn't need to be big time right away. I know everything takes time.
Excellent. And just super quick, where can people follow you if they're going to follow you on the interwebs?
If you want to follow me on social media, you can follow me on Twitter at Brandy, BRANDY, ANISTON. On Instagram, BFKN, Aniston, ANISTON.
Ooh, censored.
I know,
Nice.
it's got to be because that's my 6th Instagram. I don't know why they keep deleting me. On Snapchat is the same
I have an idea.
thing. Right now, you know what? They've restricted me to only posting photos I cannot quote, I cannot like, and I cannot follow anything.
Really?
It's like I'm on timeout.
No kidding.
Yeah.
See, I've never, I've been put in the penalty box by, I got, last time I was knocked off of Facebook for a week.
What? How
Yeah,
did you do that?
The least offensive thing ever. I posted it was something to do with the Prophet Muhammad, and it was sort of like, but it wasn't a knock. It wasn't in any way, shape, or form going after anyone of any faith. It was something along the lines of saying this, this is ridiculous. Let's take people at face value. It wasn't. I can't remember what it was. It might have even been a link to a news story, but it was like very carefully not going after anyone and not marginalizing anyone and not going after anyone for their faith, especially. But this is the thing. This is right around the time where the Charlie Hebdo thing happened, and this is when Twitter was getting death threats. And I'm just like, I got to imagine that maybe they did it for their own personal health and safety. Which I kind of understand. It's just like, hey, I don't want to be the cause of someone coming to any kind of physical harm. But yeah, that was the last time I got knocked off of Facebook, but never off of Instagram.
I think mine might be for some different reasons.
Yeah.
And that could possibly be why. I mean, maybe next time you should just flash a little more cleavage and that could get you in trouble.
Well, ever since clawing my way to middle management in corporate America, I have gone from being a ripped, toned, shredded super athlete that hits the gym on a regular basis to someone that waddles and sweats down the hallways and gets out of breath saying a long sentence. So, I don't. I think this is what you just described. That would be the jumping off point. That would be where I was just like, okay, I must force myself to go to the gym. If I ever developed any kind of moobs where I could show cleavage on Instagram, that would be the warning.
That's
signal.
probably the greatest name I've ever heard in my life for man.
You've
boobs.
never heard him called moobs?
No, I've never. Ever.
Really?
Never.
Oh, yeah.
Moobs. I'm gonna use. That's my new favorite word. Moobs.
It's not a good thing. We talk about this all the time on the show.
You're already learning something here on your internship.
Right? You guys are such great teachers.
Yeah.
Forget
Take
college.
that back to college.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to let my professor know what I learned today.
Yep. Today I learned moobs. And what did you teach me how to do? Talk up the post on a classical record from 1982? Ha! This is real radio, my friend. But the thing is, like, we were talking about this the other day on the show. Like, look, you may disagree violently, and as a woman who has made her living off of the appearance of her body in some way, shape, or form, you probably have a lot to say about this, but I've always thought that women have an easier way to go with this stuff. And I always use the Drew Barrymore reference, who looked awesome when she was pixie thin and jumped up on David Letterman's table and flashed him. And then also when she,
awesome.
Which was awesome, more awesome if you were Dave, but awesome nevertheless. And here's the thing. But then you fast forward a couple of years to where she has enjoyed, I don't know, delicious cheeseburgers or something of that nature more frequently. And she's in Charlie's Angels, and she's kind of like soft and round and thwackable in certain areas. And like
round and whackable.
It's awesome, and people love both versions of her. Guys love both versions of her. Dudes, we have to be in shape at all times. Like, no girl has ever gone like, ever since you stopped going to the gym, I really, the moobs are doing it for me. At no point has a woman ever said, like, I like that jiggle in your walk, the way a guy says to a female.
Yeah, I like those thighs.
Yeah. Oh, knocking me out with those American thighs, boyo. Brandy Aniston reads the news when we get back. Thank you for hanging out.
With puppies in my face, and I gotta join the human race. Time for you.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of you guys out there in Radio Land. All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah. Give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. You do what we do. You do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. You do what we do. You do what we do. Well, it's a new one. Here I come again, taking it back to the place where I'm picking up the pen and before I...
So generally speaking, when a guy whips it out in the bathroom, it's to take care of God's business over the porcelain god. In this one case in Connecticut, it had to do with a guy deciding to whip out a firearm. Why? Because he was getting a scotch impatient. He really had to go. He was doing a dance, and he felt this justified pulling out a literal gun. And we'll talk a little bit about what went down a little later on in the show. Right now, though, let's take a look at what's going on in the news with guest read by our new intern, Brandy Aniston. And by the way, Brandy, before we do get into the news, you were busy telling people where they could find you on the interwebs. At Brandy Aniston on Twitter, Brandy with a Y. And we covered why you'd been kicked off of Instagram several times. And
yes, we have.
You've done something recently that I think is super cool. Like, you don't work for anybody else anymore. When it comes to, like, the world of adult entertainment, you now officially your own boss. You've been at it for a while, and you now have your own website. You own your own content. You're free agent and loving it, right?
I am. I'm really loving it. I think I'm actually giving my family, my big brother, he's listening, and I want to give him a shout out and say hi. He's really proud of the fact that I am moving forward past adult. But yes, you can still find me at my own website, brandyaniston.com, and I will be performing on there. Lots of live shows, lots of girl action, so guys can still find me there.
See, this is what I like. This is like, I follow a lot of adult entertainers on Twitter for a couple of reasons. One, boobs. Two, like, so much better at understanding the world of the internet than we are in broadcasting. Like, it's become a huge part of our job, honestly, and you're so far ahead of the game just because of your number of Twitter followers and your understanding of how to drive traffic and all of the above. Like, we have very highly paid people within this company that are basically trying to get a spark going by rubbing two sticks together in terms of reaching people digitally.
I get it.
And people in the adult entertainment world are just like, flamethrower, scorched earth. We know how to do this. And so it's a big deal that you understand all that as you look to start a career in broadcasting.
Right. And you know what I figured? Because a lot of times people are like, are you going to hide? Are you going to hide your past? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? You know what? I thought about it for the longest time. I'm like, can I just jump into radio and be just a new person? No. Why not use something that I've done for 9.5, 10 years and make it bigger and change the way people look at adult stars?
I think that's an excellent idea, and I think you are on the right track. And bearing that in mind, let's do some old school traditional radio and have you read the news.
All right, guys. So George Zimmerman sold the gun he used to kill Trayvon Martin for $120,000. I find this really funny because they actually were taking this down off of a lot of the sites, but I guess he finally sold it for $120,000, which is crazy. A Russian man.
Wait, hold on. One at a time.
We talk about it.
Oh, I didn't know you want me to. Well, you give me a list of news to read. I didn't know you really wanted to go there. So, yeah, I really do want to talk on this topic.
See, it's all part of your first day. So we just throw you in the deep end.
Yeah, why don't you just throw me in with the sharks? Sheesh.
All right, people that don't want to peek behind the radio curtains, stop listening for the next 20 seconds. What we're going to do is you're going to read the headlines, and then we'll all talk about it.
All right.
Round table discussion style. So, George Zimmerman, what do we think of him?
Come on, guys. I mean, whether he was using it in his words as self-defense or not, this is a gun that killed a child. I don't believe that it should be sold as an item to be put on a plaque on your mantle. It's just something that I feel that is insensitive to the family, and I just think it's in bad taste all the way around. The guy got off with, I'm not going to go throw it out there. I don't know, exactly what happened, but most people are saying the guy got off with murder. Okay, so shouldn't he be thankful enough he got off with that?
That's I was really interested to see where you're going to go with this because this is a hot button issue that can blow up in your face if you're not careful, and I think you handled it very well. As our intern, I am very proud of you for the way you did that, Brandy, because you know what you said? You said that you were not there. You don't really know. A lot of people think that he got away with murder,
right.
And you're not saying that he got away with murder, but you said a lot of people think that.
And
you
said,
there.
there.
Yeah, that was very, very good. Good radio. Good radio, intern Brandy.
Thank you. I don't like to give my exact opinion, but the world itself is giving their general opinion. And hey, none of us were there. Him and Trayvon Martin were there. It's his word against somebody that can no longer speak for themselves. But as a family, I've lost my family. I can only imagine if, the knife that was used in my mother's, situation was sold. It would just make me feel super uncomfortable and upset that that person not only got off with what they did, but now they're profiting off of it.
I really, at all times, try and play devil's advocate in this situation. Like, if I ever have a knee-jerk reaction, I ask myself a question from the opposing side of the argument. And with the George Zimmerman thing, I got to imagine he's got some bills. I have to imagine that he's not the most employable dude on the face of the planet at the moment, given everything that's happened over the last couple of years.
I agree.
And I would imagine that he needs to make money in any way that he can. But you're exactly right. Having something that goes for such a phenomenally large price tag because it's something that took the life of another person, let alone a child, in a very, very unfortunate way. Look, maybe Trayvon was going after him. Maybe he was absolutely. Let's assume for a second that he was absolutely within his right to take the life of Trayvon Martin. it's still a kind of morbid, sick thing to up the price of something because it took another life, as far as I'm concerned. And here's the thing. And we'll talk a little bit more about gun control later on in the show. I think the idea of disarming America is preposterous. It's not going to happen no matter how you feel about it. You know, guns created America. They're part of our DNA. They're part of the fabric that holds this nation together. It's such a big part of the American identity. The idea that you can think, well, let's just do away with all of them. I really don't see that happening anytime soon. But,
right. I agree.
But folks like George Zimmerman becoming sort of a figurehead for we should be able to arm ourselves, folks. This is a guy who, in addition to doing something that I find to be an incredibly poor taste, I think he's kind of out for whatever piece of fame he can get as well. And I'm also, I'm hesitant to bash him the way a lot of people do, or a lot of people want to, because I'm sort of convinced that observing his actions from the outside looking in, I don't know that the elevator goes all the way to the top.
Right, I agree. Well, my thing is what if, if he wanted to look good, okay, why not, instead of, if he does need the money, why not donate the money to the family? And then maybe, if he really needs some money, write a book about it. I mean, there's just so many other ways that he could make some sort of profit out of this. I'm sure people would love a book on it. I'm sure people would like to read his side of the story. If he really wants to get it out there, write a book about it. Maybe donate money to the family. Don't take that money and kind of throw it in the family's face when you've already gotten off and nobody's been accused for their son's murder.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Well put, Brandy Aniston. What else is going on in the world? Next headline, please.
Alrighty, guys. A Russian man dressed as a knight at the Renaissance Festival threw a spear that knocked out a drone.
Yeah. There's a video of this.
Awesome.
I need the video on that.
Oh, there's video on my blog on pretty much every website for every station that I'm on, which is all of them. But I will tweet you a link, Brandy Aniston, and you can share it. But yeah, Russian man dressed as a knight at a Ren Fest, threw a spear, knocked out a drone. And I think he celebrated the feat the same way he celebrates everything, by not having sex. Go on.
Oh, goodness, guys. Okay, a Florida woman claims she saw a cross in her baby's soiled diaper.
Holy crap.
You took the words right out of my mouth. If I ever saw a cross in my son's diaper, I mean, what does that exactly mean? What does she think,
I think it's the same thing as seeing Jesus in a tortilla or on a piece of toast. Yeah. It's a sign.
It's a sign that your baby can poop in funny shapes. I mean, cool.
God moves in mysterious ways in the eyes of people that take this stuff seriously. Real classy. Let's just get to the story.
Super, right? Okay, guys.
Real classy. Why don't we just go to the story?
Next one.
A new dinosaur has been discovered by an amateur fossil collector in Montana. That's pretty cool. But, I mean, what kind of... I would want to know what kind of dinosaur.
Oh,
I like dinosaurs.
I think it's just, more bones that have been scattered there by God to test our faith or something like that.
Totally.
Either that or scientists are just getting bored and rearranging bones to mess with us.
You're right. They're like, this one's going to be the Velocis something, some sort of abnormal name dinosaur that they come up with. Come on.
The Veloci abnormal. Discovery. See, I have to imagine if you're a scientist and you discover a new type of dinosaur, this has got to be the sort of thing that puts you on the map. Like, I've got some family members that are scientists, and basically...
Would you name it after yourself? The
Adeosaur?
Yes.
The Adeosaur?
Oh, that's actually kind of a cool dinosaur name.
Watch out, everybody. It's the Adeosaur.
It also kind of sort of sounds like I've really, really let myself go and just been like, F it, all the cheeseburgers. Here comes the Adeosaur. The only dinosaur that's ever been made that has a person walking behind it playing a tuba.
Oh,
so yeah,
God.
maybe Adeosaur, not so much. But here's the thing. I would imagine that if you're a scientist and you discover a new type of dinosaur, that's got to really put you on the map. Like, I know I have some family members that are scientists, and a big chunk of their life is writing proposals, being like, hey, we want money to go research and investigate this. This will take us 2 years. We need this much financing. And if you're the type of person that discovers new dinosaurs, I got to imagine that opens up some serious financial doors. So you gotta imagine that this is like a big deal in the scientific community. And people are going to inspect this really closely before they give him credit and allow him to name it the Adiosaurus. Go on.
All right, guys. This one's a little exciting for me. I don't know about you guys. Zac Efron says he'll do full frontal nudity for an Oscar.
Well,
okay.
I'm excited about this one.
We all get it. Put it away.
Hey,
we get it. You were a child star, and now you're hairy and muscular.
Listen,
good for you.
He is not hairy, first of all. And every girl just wants to see what's below that waist. I mean, he shows enough. He may as well take off the bottoms.
What's interesting to me is
the Zac Efronosaur.
the Zachosaurus.
The Zachosaurus. There's your new dinosaur.
So, for the record, Brandy Aniston would very much like to see Zac Efron.
Along with every other woman listening, and probably some men, too.
Yes, ladies and certain gentlemen, Zac Efron said he'll do full frontal nudity for an Oscar. I don't think that's a deal that you get to make.
No.
I don't think you get to, address the Academy and be like, I'd like to thank the Hollywood Foreign Press for... well, I said I'd take my junk out, and boom, I got an award.
If that was the case, wouldn't have Leo won an award a lot sooner?
Did he?
I feel like he's done front foot nudity in some.
I don't think we've seen Leo's DiCaprio yet.
Well,
I don't think the DiCaprio is...
He hasn't DiCaprio'd us.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah.
The D in DiCaprio has remained unsheathed. Yeah. Zac Efron. He'll do full frontal nudity for an Oscar. In a related story, Kevin Spacey just legally changed his name to Oscar. Go on.
That's amazing. All right, guys, this is exciting. There's a movie version of Tetris in the works for all of you 90s babies that played Tetris. I was a 90s baby. Well, I was an 80s baby, but I played Tetris in the 90s.
That word exciting that you just used to describe a movie version of Tetris, I don't think you're using that properly.
Okay. Tetris is kind of boring. I get it.
No, Tetris, the game, is great, but I can't imagine 2.5 hours of it in movie form.
True. True. What are they going to do?
The whole movie is them just waiting for a long rectangle.
The favorite ones are the long bars that you can turn each way so you can fit them anywhere. Those are the best ones.
That's the end of the story, is they finally got one of those and the movie's over.
They were waiting for the right one. It came along. The end.
Along the way, they squished death by Tetris blocks.
I found. You know what? Here's the thing, though. Back in the day, when I used to be in a band, we used to have to, before we got signed and had a tour bus and people to carry stuff for us, we used to have to pack up our own gear. And I was always great at Tetris, and because I was great at Tetris, I was really good at fitting amplifiers and guitars into a van in a way that saved space. True story.
Like Theo Huxtable, days like this when I feel untouchable, I try and make up for all the wrongs I did by living my life like a Cosby kid, jamming on the one like Theo and Stevie. I know it sounds crazy, but
Now, more AD on the radio.
back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD again, nobody rock a party better than me. Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD again, nobody rock a party better than me.
Alrighty then. Guy in Connecticut discharged his firearm in a public bathroom. It's not a euphemism for anything. It's a true story. It's a thing that happened. We'll get into exactly why, the wherefores, and what this says to us about the world of gun control later on in the show. But right now, let's continue to roll through what remains of the news, guest read by our new intern, adult entertainment superstar, and rising radio star, Brandy Aniston, who, by the way, is knocking it out of the park so far, don't you think, Funkhauser?
Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, just gave her a fist bump saying, you're doing great
We
there.
have a new thing. I think me and Barry are going to have like our own new handshakes. If this is a continuation thing, we're going to have new handshakes over here, AD.
Yeah, we need
Very
like
good.
a sound for you. We have sounds for people.
I can't wait. Okay, guys. So, Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin reunited for their daughter's birthday. As you know, they were divorced and whatnot. But
Consciously uncoupled, they called it.
Yeah, consciously uncoupled. I like that. But they reunited for their daughter's birthday. That's sweet. I mean,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
What are you going to do? All right.
Wait, she was she was all like, "What have you been doing?" And he responded, "Less annoying women than you." Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Do people understand why folks have such a big problem with Gwyneth Paltrow? Like, what is it about her that gets under people's skin so
I can
badly?
maybe give. Well, she seems like it's maybe a lack of personality.
Yeah,
Like she doesn't
something's-
seem very approachable.
Something's missing.
I mean, I don't think she's a bad actress. I mean, I just think that maybe she's not the most approachable seeming woman, which, being in entertainment, I can't say that that's always her fault. She might just have anxiety when it comes to meeting fans or whatnot. So who knows what the issue may be. But I think people, you know what? I think maybe she did an interview and gave a couple opinions that people didn't like too. I'm not real sure. I would have to look that up. But yeah, I think she's done some things that people didn't like.
Like, the world has a tremendous problem with her.
Yeah.
And to her credit, she doesn't seem to let it get under her skin too
Why
much. I guess
would
she
it?
does.
If you had her
I guess
money,
she
would
does
it get
enough.
under your skin?
I don't know. I guess she does enough yoga to where she can let it all go. I think it has something to do with her website, which I think it's called Goop or something like that.
Maybe.
And everything that she sort of sells on her website or recommends that people buy on their website is just like, hey, $150,000 solid gold marital aid was featured on it the other day.
Yeah, like anyone can afford that. I'll save up for
Right.
that. Yeah,
It's
I want it
for people
Christmas.
It's for people that get really aroused by hating the poor. But like, I think a lot of the stuff that she does on her website seems to be more than a little elitist, and I think that might be the problem that people have with her. Like, Chris Martin wrote that song, the Coldplay song, Adventure of a Lifetime, which sounds like Pharrell from the Neptunes went, I got this left over. You want it, Coldplay? It was really weird. 'Cause when we first heard it, it was like, hey, Coldplay gets down and funky. That's very strange because, we always feel like Coldplay and Mumford & Sons are in a battle to be the whitest band ever. Like both of the bands very much, but to hear them make something that was made for dancing to is strange. But he wrote this song, Adventure of a Lifetime, and people are like, well, what's it about? He's like, it's about meeting the perfect woman and going on a fantastic adventure with her. And this was right around the time he was consciously uncoupling, and they're like, is this sort of like a, hey, it's been real, too bad it didn't work out thing to your soon-to-be ex-wife, Gwyneth Paltrow? He's like, no, it's about a woman I haven't met yet. Very clear. Hey, Gwyneth, perfect woman, not you!
I'm not a huge Gwyneth fan, so...
Maybe it's undeserved. Maybe she's super nice.
Maybe.
You know what? We will probably never know.
Yeah, right?
Go on.
Anyways, guys, okay, here's a name we haven't heard for quite a minute, but I mean, maybe. Alanis Morissette claims a money manager stole money from her. Well, it's either that or she's running out of money and she's trying to find a way to figure out where it all went.
Alanis Morissette says her money manager stole money from her. Huh.
Yeah.
Isn't that ironic?
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah. that was
little
a good
little
one.
too ironic.
That was a good one.
I don't think Alanis Morissette's ever running out of money. I think like that first album sold just something like 20, 30 million copies. And I don't think if you're a solo artist, you run out of money after something like that, unless you fly around in a diamond-encrusted, solid, gold-plated Learjet or something like that. And I don't know. And you know what? It seems as though everybody gets ripped off by someone in their life. If you make a bunch of money, someone's going to take... Dane Cook, didn't his brother steal a whole bunch of his money from him?
Yeah, I mean, everybody... you got to look at it this way. Once... Everybody in this lifetime is ultimately chasing after a dollar. They want to make money in some way and take care of their families or whatever their reasoning may be. But I think that, they get a little greedy or think that they're entitled because they're family or they did it or whatnot. And I think that happens a lot. So, I mean, when you're rich and famous and powerful, those are the kind of things you got to watch out for.
And, there's different ways to lose money with a money manager than people stealing it from you. Like,
sure.
I had when I was in a band, I was a teenager. We got $1 million. We got not diamond-encrusted, gold-plated Learjets, but we got tour buses. We got all this sort of stuff. We got and we had a money manager. And they're like, well, you're going to be huge. You deserve the biggest and best of everything. So let's put you with a guy that looks after Bruce Springsteen's money. And one tax season, I guess he was too busy counting the boss's bucks and neglected to pay one of my tax bills. And I didn't know. And that didn't catch up with me until years later. And they're like, hey, you didn't pay $2,000 in like when you were 18, 19 years old, you didn't pay $2,000. I was like, well, okay, it's going to take me a while to come up with $2,000 because I'm in radio now, but I can pay that back. And they're like, oh, no. With interest and penalties, you owe closer to like $15,000. I was like, what?
Wow.
Thank you, Funkhauser. Very good. And so, like, there's more than one way for a money manager to screw up your financial life. And it might be by stealing it. It might be by just ignoring it. I don't know. I do know this, though. More with Brandy Aniston when we return. Tweet us at ADSXE, at Brandy Aniston, at Funk FM. Thank you for hanging out.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is. The Dumbing Up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
A shooting in a men's room. Why? Was there justification behind some guy discharging his firearm? Like we said, no euphemism. This is a thing that actually happened. We'll discuss it before we bounce today. Right now, though, let's continue with what remains of the news.
All right, guys.
Courtesy of our new intern, Brandy Aniston. Now, a quick question for you before we roll on.
Sure.
Very interesting stuff. And I think something that a lot, like I said, on this show, when we have someone as awesome as you on, we don't cheapen the whole situation by going like, here's Brandy and boy does she look good. We enjoyed her last 3 films. Bend over. Let me get a look at the. We don't do that because that's a cheap, hackneyed radio crutch that we don't feel it's necessary to rely on. But for people in your line of work, there are certain questions that other people have. Case in point, you're in a long-term relationship, right?
I am.
Very, very cool. And now the question that a lot of people I think have is for someone that's in your line of work or been in your line of work, do you have to date somebody else from the adult entertainment industry for it to work out?
You don't necessarily have to. When I first got into the industry, I wasn't with somebody that was in the business, and it worked fine. But I then was my current partner and I were both in the industry together, but now we're currently moved out of the industry together. So he is currently an intern over at JPL. I'm interning for radio, so we are both kind of those people that
rocket ship.
Yeah, wait. You're
gosh,
the guy you're with is a rocket scientist?
He's got a really cool internship. No, he is a researcher for JPL NASA.
That's really, really impressive. What did he do? What did he do when he was working in the adult entertainment world?
He was a male adult performer.
So it's like Tom Brady,
a juggler, or
he was like the guy that he was a fluffer. Just kidding.
That's crazy. Like, and we won't. That I'm not going to try and get a name from you or anything. But
you can ask. It's fine.
Well, it's just almost pointless. Like, it doesn't even matter. The point is that, like, this is a guy who is, shall we say, equipped to be a performer in the adult entertainment industry. Females probably find him to be quite impressive and easy on the eyes, and he is smart enough to be a rocket scientist. It's almost like when he was born, God was like, here, have some more. Have a little more. Wait. No. In addition to all the smarts and the what you got going on south of the equator, how would you like to be in a long-term relationship with Brandy Aniston? Sure, yeah, fine.
You know, his dad actually worked for like the government, and he did like all of like the secret, planes and all those things. He was doing all the secret stuff. So he's no longer with us. He passed away when my significant other was little. But so he gets his brains from over on that end, and he decided to go into the adult industry because he thought it would be a fun thing, and then learned as he got older he wanted to give more to the world. So he's now over at JPL doing amazing, and I'm really proud. So it made me step up my game and run into my love and passion for radio.
That's awesome. Like, it's very generous of you to include radio in the same breath as rocket scientists and think of it like makes Funkhauser and I feel like we've got a little bit more going on than we actually do. But nevertheless, that's super impressive. You guys are like, what a go-getter couple.
Yeah, he's even in grad school. So I mean, he's doing amazing, and I'm really proud. And we're both gonna have our degrees, and it's gonna be really cool. So I'm really proud of both of us.
Wow, that's amazing. That's super cool, and that's kind of sort of why I wanted to bring it up. That's very, very impressive stuff. We are honored that you would lower yourself to being on this little show.
No, I am honored to even be a part of this. To be a part of your guys' show this is a dream come true. Being in the studio right now, I'm in complete shell shock. I look like a kid in the candy store. You can ask Funkhauser over here.
Well, like I said before, welcome to the medium time. What else is going on in the news?
All right, guys. Pete Townsend turned 71 today.
Pete Townsend from The Who.
I was going to say. I was like, I need to know who that is.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Got it.
Who?
Got it.
Right. Yeah. That's his bit. Who's on first?
All right, guys.
That means now when he sings "Who Are You," it's literally because he doesn't know.
Perfect. I'm good with that. All right, guys. A man was detained for trespassing outside Taylor Swift's home in New York. Well,
then they let me go. So.
Barry, I thought I told you to stop hanging outside of her house.
I don't listen to anybody. I'm there.
Yeah. All of Taylor Swift's songs were actually about Funkhauser.
Especially the one about Shake It Off.
Kanye West interrupted the arrest to say that Beyonce had the greatest stalker of all time.
Don't you just love that he says that he's the one that made her famous, though? Like, how are you going to say that you made Taylor Swift famous? All because you stole a microphone from her?
It didn't hurt.
No, it didn't hurt.
As much as you want to go, that's ridiculous, Kanye. Sit down. The thing is, like, that was a defining moment for her and for him as well. Like, saying, I made Taylor Swift famous. Like, neither of them had any problems in the fame department at the time and continue to not have problems in the fame department at the time. But when you think Kanye West, you think, oh, that guy that interrupted Taylor Swift. When you think Taylor Swift, you think, oh, that girl that got interrupted by Kanye West.
True.
Like, that's, to people that, are over the age of 30, that is their relationship with these two artists, pretty much. And you know what? I think Kanye West did them both a favor on that one.
Well, I agree with that. But, to say that you were the reason that made her famous might be stretching it just a tiny bit.
You know what's kind of interesting about Taylor Swift is we had like a consultant come through, like every once in a while in radio, again, peeling back the curtain a little bit. Consultants come through and talk about what works and what doesn't, and you're trying to reach out to your audience and all the above, and blah, blah, blah. So one of the things he said was, he was like, Taylor Swift, let's be real here. Not the greatest singer in the world. Not bad, but no Celine, no Mariah Carey, no Michael Bublé. Like, there's not people falling all over themselves going like, Taylor Swift's got the most incredible voice ever.
Correct.
Kind of raw when you hear her raw, like without sort of like all the things that are going on to make it sound the way it does. But he was like, her ability to connect with people is absolutely unparalleled. He was like, there are brilliant musicians, singers that will never get out of their bedroom, that will never get out of the practice room, that will never get anywhere in life, not because they don't have all the talent in the world, not because their amount of talent doesn't dwarf Taylor Swift's, but because they don't have a tiny fraction of the ability to connect with people that Taylor Swift does. And she does that by being real.
I agree.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say that she, just to add to what you're saying, she's just so normal looking and thinking and alike, and she seems so real to girls. She seems obtainable. Like, she's not one of those girls that's like plastic from head to toe or anything like that. She's a real girl, and she makes girls feel like it's okay to be yourself.
You know,
and also
and
the
that's
haters
interesting.
like to hate, and the players like to play. So,
and she's good at shaking it off. But it's interesting to get the female perspective on her. My favorite Taylor Swift moment ever was like that New Year's broadcast, and I loved it because, like, Ryan Seacrest, look, people can do what they want to say about Ryan Seacrest. Is his show my cup of tea? No, it's not. But here's the thing about Ryan Seacrest. He can be out in freezing cold Times Square with everything going on that is going on, and he is cold steel. He is an unshakable broadcaster that is an absolute pro, and you kind of get why things have happened for him the way they've happened for him. He is so rock solid at what he does. But my favorite Taylor Swift moment was the one where I realized Ryan Seacrest is always going to be a way bigger star than anyone he interviews because, like, Taylor Swift had just performed in Times Square, and she was, like, wearing next to nothing, and it was freezing outside, and Ryan Seacrest, she's like, boy, am I cold? And Ryan Seacrest is like, oh, here's my jacket. And she's like, oh, Ryan, what's this? He's like, I'm giving you my jacket because it's cold out. And, like, he did this on camera, and he was like, oh, geez. I was like, there it is. That's the moment where Ryan Seacrest has transcended all of this. He is bored doing the New Year's Eve broadcast, handing his jacket to Taylor Swift, just being a normal human being that's just like, here, take my jacket. I'm giving you my jacket because it's cold. All right, what's next?
Yeah, right?
I was just like, this is the pinnacle of broadcasting superstardom, and he's done with it in his mind.
He's numb to them. He's numb to the celebrities at this point. He's like, oh, Taylor Swift, who's next? Who do we got? Who do we got? I mean, he's interviewed basically everybody who's anybody. I love Ryan. I personally, I've told Barry this a million times. I think he's great. I think he's ultimately super talented, and everything he does turns to gold. Look at what he's done.
I think people like Seacrest and Stern, it's just, look, they are more well-known than a lot of the people that they interview. And that adds a new dimension to conversations that they have where people are just as excited to meet them as, listeners are to hear them on the radio. So they can get stuff out of people that that other people can't. I mean, Funkhauser and I can do it because, we're good. But, in terms of people being humongous and being able to put their guests off guard because, like, hey, you're being interviewed by Seacrest or Stern, that means you've arrived. Like, people get nervous going in to get interviewed by them. It's an interesting thing.
Definitely. It's kind of like when people go on the Ellen show.
Yes, that too. I would kind of Ellen's really funny. I've always.
Don't you get a free car when you go on it?
That was Oprah.
That's Oprah.
What do you get for
you get a car and you get a car?
Now her cable network's in the toilet, and it's everybody look under their chair. You're all getting pink slips. Go on, what else?
All right, guys. Former Baltimore Ravens linebacker Ray Lewis turns 41 on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Sports.
Good for him.
He's going to do what he always does. Cut the cake, then blame it on somebody else. Go on.
Shaquille O'Neal posted a video of himself singing the Canadian national anthem.
Oh, shaking. Oh, wrong one.
Yeah, Canadian national anthem. If you want to hear it, you can either watch it on YouTube or just go hang out by a pond during bullfrog mating season. Kind of sort of the same thing.
Barry's got it down. Oh, goodness.
Funkhauser, how much time do we have left? Like, in the show?
Like 2 minutes.
All right. Quick. Let's talk some gun control. Super quick. We've just been having too much fun with Brandy Aniston. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Oh, thank you for having me. Hopefully you have me back.
So, dude in Connecticut, all angry that someone's taken way too long in the bathroom. So... what do you do in those situations? Like, I mean, look, they're doing God's work. They're praying to the porcelain god, especially, maybe in a restaurant or a bar or something. They might have some sort of intestinal situation going on, and it's irritating when people take too much freaking time. It's like, what are you doing? Are you in there playing Tetris because you're a 90s baby? Get out. Or, are they legitimately doing something? Well, this dude, 22 years old, arrested last week in Connecticut. Apparently, he was hanging out at a neighbor's apartment when someone was taking way too long in the bathroom. And this is someone's home. They said he got all angry and he pulled out his 9mm handgun, shot once at the door. He then went outside and allegedly fired a second time at the outside wall of the apartment complex. No injuries reported. Now faces charges for unlawful discharge of a firearm, carrying a firearm while intoxicated, reckless endangerment, threatening, and disorderly conduct.
Whoa, man.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Brandy Aniston. Gun control in this country. Go.
Gun control in this country, my thoughts on it, I believe that every American, within reason, I believe that there should be stronger laws on how to get approved to get a gun. I think that there should be a lot more ways that people are tested or background check wise and things like that. And if they pass those tests, I believe that every American has the right to protect themselves and have a gun in their home to take care of themselves. Now, whether, that's about it. That's how I feel.
So people should be allowed to have guns, but there should be stronger measures to stop people that would shoot bathrooms when people are taking too long in there from getting them. Thank you so much for hanging out. I'm sure we'll do this again sometime soon. Later. Thank you,
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Brandy.
You know how a lot of times you feel like it's cool to turn the other cheek and give people the benefit of the doubt even when they don't deserve it.